In this video, I want to talk about configuring Teredo. Now, what exactly is Teredo? You're probably wondering at about this point. It is yet another one of those IP version 6 transition technologies. Now, what I want to encourage you to do before you go take this exam is go out and do some reading on IP version 6. Now, you certainly don't need to be an expert at IP version 6, but you do need to be familiar with what an IP version 6 address looks like, maybe a little familiar with some of the structure of the addresses, but just read up on it and familiarize yourself a little bit, and especially if words like Teredo and isotap, if these are new concepts to you, brand new, go out and read about each one of these just a bit on Microsoft's website, or just go out to Wikipedia or something and read about these things and get it in your head what they are. Now, Teredo is a transition technology because IP version 4 and 6 are not compatible, so we're going to have to run them side by side and slowly kind of phase version 4 out. So what does Teredo do? Well, just like you see in the second bullet here, it provides IP version 6 connectivity to hosts out there on the IP version 4 internet, even though those hosts don't have any direct connection to an IP version 6 network. Now, watch for this on the exam. Isotap is designed to be used on a private network, intranet, that sort of thing. Teredo is designed to be used out there on the public internet. It does the same thing really as isotap. It tunnels the IP version 6 packets into IP version 4 UDP packets. Now, of course, UDP stands for User Datagram Protocol. Now, there are two characteristics of Teredo that you need to remember for this exam, and this will help you kind of sort your way through most of the questions that will have to do with Teredo on the exam. First of all, it is designed to be used on the public internet. Once again, let me beat this dead horse for you. Isotap is designed for intranet private network. And then back to Teredo, it is able to function from behind NAT devices, or network address translation devices. In other words, firewalls, that sort of thing. So that's a big selling point for Teredo as a transition technology for IP version 6. Now, one of the main requirements for configuring Teredo is that you have to have two consecutive static, notice that word static, public IP version 4 addresses in an internet-facing interface. So you'll have to have two static addresses facing the internet. Then, to configure Teredo, and this is a bit interesting, Teredo gets configured as part of the direct access functionality that's new in Windows Server 2012. Now, if you run the direct access and you're setting that up and you run the Getting Started wizard, oddly enough, it will not configure Teredo even if you have the two static IP addresses. Your Teredo server does not get configured. If you run the Setup wizard, not the Getting Started wizard, but the Setup wizard, or you can run the following PowerShell command with admin rights, which is what most people opt to do at this point. Notice set DA server, and then use the -Teredo switch, and then put the word enabled. It will take care of that for you, and it will configure that Teredo server. Now, that's part of direct access. There's a bit of confusion out there about isotap and whether we need it or not, and the whole direct access involvement, but everybody is 90% in agreement. Direct access is a really cool addition to Windows Server 2012, but these IP version 6 transition technologies are somewhat iffy within direct access about whether we need them, when we need them, how we're going to use them, and that sort of thing. So you just have to go out there and dig into that. They won't go into those kind of controversies on the exam. So instead of me confusing you there, let's just keep on moving. But I just want you to know that that discussion is out there, and you will see it if you go out and read in the documentation. But the main thing that you need to be aware of on the exam is what isotap is, what Teredo is, when it would be used, Teredo especially from behind a NAT, and how you configure those. And with that information, you should be able to pick your way through these questions. But trust me, in the real world, you're going to have to dig into IP version 6 quite a bit more.